on track. But first to our top story tonight, the Solyndra scandal taking a nasty legal turn now. The White House digging in on its stance, rejecting a legal subpoena demanding documents related to its $535 million loan guarantee to the now bankrupt solar panel maker Solyndra. Republican-led lawmakers are investigating how a loan of $500 million could have gone to a company with so many red flags. It also wants to know why taxpayers were put behind private investors with ties to administration and getting paid back during bankruptcy. With us now is a member of the investigating committee, Republican Congressman Phil Gingrey of Georgia. Congressman, great to see you again. Well, the White House has responded, so to speak, to your call for the subpoena, and they say, and I'm quoting White House counsel, the subpoena would put an unreasonable burden on the president's ability to meet his constitutional duties. So you are interfering with the president's constitutional duties. Your response?
Well, David, first of all, let me just say it's great to be on a world premiere. I hope my mama's watching. I've never
I
been
hope so. I hope mine's watching as well. Thank you. We're proud to have you.
Well, thank you. It's always good to be on your show. Yeah, I mean, we issued a subpoena, and they say, well, it's a fishing expedition. We've already, the executive office of the presidency, the office of the White House counsel, we've already looked at 85,000 pages of documents, and we haven't found anything. And it would be an undue burden on us to let you guys on the Oversight and Investigation Subcommittee of the Committee on Energy and Commerce in the House of Representatives, it would be a burden for us to hire a few workers and rent a van and get those 85,000 pages over to you and let you take a look at them and see if you agree with the findings that we have come to. Well, again, how much is it going to cost them to do a 60-day independent study by a retired former high up in the Department of Treasury to do the White House's own independent investigation? That's going to cost a lot of money. So it's not about money and what it costs. We know that this program has already cost the taxpayers, the taxpayer, $500 million on the very first loan that they pushed out the door under this Department of Energy loan program for renewable energy. So
but the president is the president is suggesting that all of his duties as commander-in-chief, making sure that he kills the terrorists that are out there, making sure that he gets real tax reform, that those duties are being interfered with by your subpoena. Do you put any credence in that at all?
Well, he may have to cancel that big fundraiser in Washington tonight, or he may have to stop going all over the country campaigning when we're a year and a half away from the next election, and mind the store a little bit better, stay home in the Oval Office and do the work, the constitutional duties he's required to do. And I don't think that that's putting too big a burden on him, quite honestly.
By the way, we're looking at the Glass Palace, as it's called, $700 million that they spent on building this huge new company headquarters in California, Solyndra did, and of course using a good chunk of that $535 million that they got from us. If that is sold, and of course in this real estate market it's hard to sell things, but if that is sold, as it stands now, the taxpayers wouldn't get the money, the private investors would, correct?
David, that's right. And I hope your listeners listen carefully on this one, because what the Department of Energy did was they allowed, even after they approved, rushed out the door this loan program to Solyndra, and as you pointed out, over $500 million of taxpayer money. In other words, in the event of default, the money is lost. But if there's any recovery on the sale of assets, of course, that would go back to the Treasury and to the taxpayer. They let some lenders come back in after the fact when the company was still hemorrhaging cash and lend an additional $75 million. But they put those lenders in a position over the taxpayer. Right. They put them in a first position. They restructured the loan. In the private market, David, as you know, you couldn't do that unless you got the first lender to agree to it, to sign off on it. And we, the taxpayer, didn't sign off on it. And so we're just out at least another $75 million. And they rushed a lot of other loans out the door, as you know, that had to meet that September 30th deadline. There's something not right in River City.
Gotcha. All right, Congressman, again, we are happy to have you here on the premiere of Power and Money. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you, David.
Well, you couldn't reject a subpoena.